The apology is never gonna be as loud as the disrespect was.
Y'all can never let black men just be happy and successful. So for those of you that are not chronically online like I am, the scuttlebutt in the news of the week is that Duke Dennis has allegedly gotten a minor pregnant. Shocker, right? Big shocker. Well, this story is years old and it's already been debunked 50,000 times. To make a long and old story short, back in 2014, there was a woman that came out on Twitter tweeting about how she was a minor and she's pregnant by one of her followers. And then in the mention, she goes on to mention Duke Dennis, who at the time wasn't the Duke Dennis that we do know, but will become the Duke Dennis that we know today. Now, you're probably wondering,
Omar, if this is old news, why are you reporting on it today?
Well, the problem is that it keeps coming up. These false allegations keep resurfacing, and we need to get to the bottom as to why they keep resurfacing and why people even give out false allegations anyway. Now, Duke Dennis did a slight address of the situation this time because he's already addressed it 50 million times before. Now, Duke Dennis has already addressed this 3 years ago, and his explanation back then was really all anybody needed to move on with their lives because ultimately they didn't really care in the first place.
The only reason why I'm in this situation is because somebody killed my cousin, bro. And the dude who killed my cousin went to jail. His sister and his mama went to the police and said that I did something that I didn't do because they was trying to put me in jail because it was some animosity and some disrespect going on between my peoples and they peoples, bro. You know what I'm saying? Which is naturally understandable, bro. Your brother just my cousin. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of back and forth going on, a lot of social media dissing and beefing and things of that nature. And to this day, bro, Lord can strike me dead, bro. I don't have no problem, no bad feeling with the dude who my cousin. I forgive him. The girl who did this, you know what I'm saying, who went and did that, I forgive her. I went on about my life. You know what I'm saying? I got my record expunged. I was not guilty, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? And whole time I thought that I wasn't gonna have to visit this, but y'all see what came up, and that's what the f it is, bro.
See, the problem with false allegations like this when they go unchecked though is that people run with all these stories and run with all these lies, attach them together, and they give credibility to these smaller lies which can compound to slander your name. Like this tweet about Duke Dennis being a child toucher who has 4 kids that he doesn't take care of is like many pieced together stories that only have any sort of validity or credibility because one false allegation didn't go unchecked for a certain amount of time. Nobody's squashing these things out. And ultimately they lead to your fan base switching up on you. But just like Sketch, Duke Dennis found out and continues to find out that there is no way to run from your past. Because for whatever reason, somebody always feels like they have to bring up situations from the past in which have already been discussed, discovered, and put to rest. I think the worst part about this situation and other situations like this where there is a past transgression that somebody is discovering is that they frame it in a way as if it's something new or there's new evidence. Now, I understand that 100% of the time people are going to know your backstory. Duke Dennis, Cenat, any other famous person in the world is going to continue to grow their fame and their celebritydom.
What?
Their star power. And with that being said, new eyes are going to be brought to their platform and who they are. They will have to find out the lore. And so if in that discovery of the lore, the genesis and the backstory of your favorite content creator, you do realize that, oh, there is this secret dark past about them that needs to be brought into question, I think that's perfectly fine. Hey, no harm, no foul. I can't blame you for being ignorant. But there's a thing that certain media outlets do or certain platforms do is continuously bring up things that have been already disproven, debunked, and honestly dispelled as false allegations as if they were something new to the table. And the timing only seems to be right after a big moment happens in their lives or a big moment happens in somebody's lives that they're adjacent to. I don't think it's a coincidence that this situation was brought back up right at the end of Mafiathon, in which Cenat and anybody adjacent to Cenat had a lot of search and eyes on them. It's not a coincidence. But those that bring situations like this up as if they are new are terrible people. And they don't really realize, or maybe they do, false allegations can literally ruin people's whole careers. Now, in the same vein of this situation, I was scrolling and finding some tweets, and I came across somebody who was saying the most disgusting things about Cenat and a skit that he had did with his former friend or maybe current friend, Ron Suno. Now, I'm not going to depict the skit. It was a childish skit and it was disgusting. It was Ron, and a young woman or a young person on a stairwell simulating acts. But what's nasty about it is this specific person who had tweeted this out about Cenat framed it as if the person in question was drunk and Cenat and Ron Suno took advantage of them. Now, again, this is another situation that has been talked about numerous times, has the story out there, and it's been completely put to the side. But again, at the end of Mafiathon, when Kai's name is at its biggest, it doesn't strike me as coincidence to say that somebody would try to slander the name again. You remember when the OF model tried to give the misunderstanding and misinterpretation that Cenat was paying for her to commit sexual acts upon him, which ultimately didn't make sense because she was an OF content creator who was taking money for sex. So somebody paying for sex, I don't know how that's such a bad thing in the line of work that you do. It almost seems like you're insinuating that it's shameful to do this, but you're the one selling it. I don't know. But that whole situation backfired on her tenfold.
All right, it's some dumb shit, clout chasing, weird ass shit going on right now, bro. But it's all right, though. I'll see you in court. Got you. You're saved as Layla Red in my phone. Kiara Rush, I'm on you now. Kiara Rush, we call you KR now. All right? Go to November. Stop. Flyer artist, hairstylist, facial lady, flyer artist. Layla Red, $50 for your Uber, bitch. I got you a Uber, bitch. $50, bitch. What you talking about, nigga? Stop talking about, yo, word of my mother, let me tell you something, bro. Stop speaking on me, bro.
Now, the whole situation divulged into a back and forth where they play he say, she say, screenshot this, screenshot that. And ultimately, what it came down to is two grown people decided to do grown people things. But again, this is about the framing and the false allegations that surrounded it, because the way that the OF content creator made it seem like is if Cenat did something that was wrong. Now, it might be something that's frowned upon from a certain subsection of people, because I know a lot of people were thinking, why, if you are so rich, would you pay for sex? And hey, maybe it's a valid concern and criticism. But at the end of the day, she was selling a product. He bought the product legally with conversation and contract. What's so bad about that? And this is the thing with people in false allegations and trying to expose culture. They don't even think about the consequences and repercussions of some of their actions. We didn't follow up on her then, but she's come out recently now and said that the whole situation, she probably would have went about it differently. And I can guess why is because not only was it regrettable and nothing to really talk about, but it probably damaged her own brand and her own image and her business of selling her.
Okay, so let me tell you, let me just keep it all the way 100. So when me and Cenat got into that situation, he gave me an ultimatum. He said, either I can put you on or I can give you this money. I'm not saying I regret it. Would I have not taken the money maybe the second time around, actually looking back how things turned out? Maybe, possibly, not saying I regret what happened, but possibly because maybe I could have made my name bigger than just taking the money. But then it still was in the back of my mind, like, do I really trust this motherfucker to really do what he say and do, you know, be who he is? So I would say I wouldn't regret it, but maybe I would have changed the series of events.
Now, ultimately, you lost some clientele and you are known as the OF snitch. When people do stuff like this, I'm talking about false allegations, I don't know if they realize in the moment it's a selfish act and it's potentially career ruining for the person that they're talking about. And in some situations, some people's careers need to be ruined, but oftentimes I find these to be acts of emotion. So I don't know why they're thinking so short-sighted for something that could be super detrimental. I'm thinking about like the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, which is complex, but that's another video for another channel. And then I can even think about the whole Jonathan Majors situation where he's essentially been blackballed from a lot of different media outlets or filming companies because of the situation that happened with him. And even with Duke Dennis and Cenat, doing nothing but continuing to rehash dead situations or come up with false allegations could do nothing but hurt and harm their careers from furthering succeeding, and that's not good. I come to the conclusion that false allegations and accusations happen for a couple of different reasons, and even though these things don't happen often, it seems that as people grow, as their celebrity gets bigger, it happens more frequently and the stakes grow bigger and bigger as time goes on. First and foremost, they can happen out of ignorance. Like I said in the Duke Dennis situation, there could be, and most likely there are, people who are not chronically online like you and I may be, so they don't know that Duke Dennis addressed this situation in the past. They don't know that this situation is no longer a current event. They don't know that this has been addressed numerous times. They're just ignorant and they're finding out the lore of their favorite content creator, and I can't blame them for that. The second one, and I know a lot of people say this, they're just bored and miserable in their home. I don't think that this is a big one, but there are people who are just miserable online, and you know, they do what they do for God knows what reason. If they had a job, they probably wouldn't get through with doing this.
Please get a damn job.
Third, and more importantly, there are people that just do not want people to succeed in life. And I don't know if you ever met any of these people or saw some people in real life or on the internet that hate for no reason, but I think that this is the extreme level of hate that needs to be studied as to why they do not enjoy seeing others succeed, to the point where they would slander their names so much that these people wouldn't even exist on the internet or be successful anymore. And I think it's disgusting when I see some comments or some tweets about people that say, hey, well, because
He voted for so-and-so, or this person likes the Bulls and I like the Warriors, and I'm gonna make up false allegations behind them.
I think that that stuff is just some of the most disgusting stuff. And ultimately, there should be some sort of punishment for this.
I'm so tired of hearing that people want to sue for defamation and they don't even know what they're talking about. I'm not talking about the creator of this video. I don't even know the full drama for what's going on, and frankly, I don't care to, but you need to know this about defamation. Defamation is when someone makes a false statement about you to a third party and it harms you. To prove defamation, you have to show that whatever false statement that was harmed your reputation or your business or somehow caused you damages. Being upset about it probably is not enough on its own. It's important to remember that truth is the ultimate defense to defamation claims. So if what someone said was their opinion or it was true, it's probably not defamation. Like I said, I don't know the details for what's going on here, but probably 90% of the time when I hear someone say, I'm going to sue for defamation, they have nothing to sue for, and that is fake.
I brought up that clip because I knew somebody would say, well, Omar, they could just sue for defamation. Well, there's a couple problems with that. One, like that lady just said, people have really, really weak cases for defamation claims. I mean, I've only seen them really work in one regard. That's the Cardi B Tasha K situation. You know, Tasha K has literally been cleaned up by Cardi B for some of the allegations that she's made about, I think, her drug use and something with her kids and her marriage and stuff like that. Now, Tasha K has been beaten upside the head by Cardi B, and rightfully so. It's disgusting. But most of the time, that does not happen. The only other situation I know like that, and it's currently going on, is Meg Thee Stallion suing Milagro for the whole Tory Lanez defamation case throughout that whole trial. But other than that, Duke Dennis, Kai Cenat, MrBeast, or whoever can't go around suing Twitter user X359Y every time they tweet out something that is not true. They can't sue all these outlets. Beyonce can't sue Jaguar, right? You can't just go around handing out lawsuits, because not only does it take time, effort, and energy, it also brings some validity to who they are and more recognition to that entity that is tweeting out these false claims. Although defamation and false allegations are not that big of a deal numerically, it's still pretty harmful even when it happens to people. The only way that I think that people can currently combat these things is by taking to social media, uplifting and igniting their audiences and fan bases, and divulging more of their lives so that people can be more trusting of them, or say that this is impossible of them because they were on different sides of the country. And sticking to being a good person is a pretty good general rule of thumb, but it means being chronically more online and giving more of yourself to more people. I think about the situation that happened earlier this year where Kai Cenat got wrapped up in a whole bunch of allegations with his friends. It started off with him hosting a New Year's Eve party, and then somebody at the party did something with somebody else in a room, allegedly took her to the room and took advantage of her. And there were some people that were taking things to the most extreme, saying Kai Cenat was in the room with this woman against her will. But there were also people saying that Kai was covering up this whole situation and helping his friend out.
Should I explain it? Like, cause it's like, bro, Kai could have helped find this nigga. Kai could have used his resources to find this nigga. He left her on red for 4 days, nigga. She had to find this nigga herself. You don't think that's up when Kai knows this nigga? But he out in the UK, like, talking about he got other to worry about. What the hell you got to worry about?
But I think as the story progressed and Kai Cenat himself came out more and more and spoke, people realized that this is not somebody who was involved in the situation. He wasn't hiding, and he put out what was probably not the best way to address the situation, but it was extremely genuine, which made a lot of people believe and understand who Kai Cenat is based off of the past actions doesn't add up to be the person that they are trying to slander in the media.
The person that's associated with me. I knew this guy. I'm not defending him once again. I knew this guy for a very long time. We went on multiple trips. You feel what I'm saying? Never was this. He's not that type of person. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying none of that. I'm not defending nobody because, bro, the way she was crying to me on that phone, bro, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I know how he looked. Scars on the face, dreads. You feel me? That's for the law. If that's for the law to handle, though, that's none of y'all business at all.
And the same thing in the cameraman Chris situation. When Cenat spoke about it, people could really tell that he was emotionally hurt and damaged based off of the actions of these people. And it showed that he had no parts in it because he had been divulging himself on the internet, expressing who he was, showing his personality, and people were able to believe him and give him the benefit of the doubt and give him enough time to basically explain himself. I think MrBeast is probably the biggest example of 2024 of people putting a bunch of false allegations and accusations on his name in order to slander him. I mean, there was a good stretch of about 2 months where people were eating off of dog pack videos where he talked about MrBeast being a part of these discords and touching on kids or being a part of setting up kids with Chris Tyson. And then YouTube channels on the commentary side putting out video after video after video after video where they were continuously slandering him with little to no evidence and just dog pack running around saying whatever he wanted to say in these videos.
He'll be in videos. He'll be in thumbnails. He'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face can be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender?
Now, the MrBeast situation got so out of hand that Jimmy decided to take to the internet, semi-address some of these things with an investigation of his own. But for Dogpack, he had something special. He launched a full-on investigation and ultimately a lawsuit against him.
Are you going to sue Dogpack?
There's tons of examples of him intentionally manipulating things to not be true and posting it online. Tons and tons and tons of that. Soggy has basically an hour and 27-minute video, and an hour of it is just flat out proving manipulation and lies and caused a lot of harm to my businesses. I mean, I've literally had people pull out millions of dollars and then tell me it was directly because of his video. And don't worry, I instantly was like, can you send that in writing? So, you know, if I win a case or anything, I can directly point damages. No reason why. And I mean, it's just, I mean, what do you do if someone's just spreading misinformation about you and, you know, just causing harm to your business and like getting it to the point where you might have to potentially fire people because it's costing you so much revenue? It's like, it's not fair to the people in my companies. You know what I mean? It's just sad, you know. It's not a thing I take joy in. Every law firm I've talked to, they're like, this will be the easiest win they've ever seen in their life. I mean, it's like crazy. I had one tell me like, you could chop up all the evidence into like sue 3 separate times and win all 3 cases because you'd have enough for each. Like one person I was talking to, he's won like 67 out of his last 70 cases, and he's like, this would be literally the easiest case I've ever done. Like it's because there's just so much blatant, you know, misinformation and lies spread. Like, I mean, it's crazy.
And MrBeast said some things that are very interesting. Although these are big conglomerates, multimillionaires that make a lot of money, at the end of the day, they still employ people and feed families and have changed a lot of people's lives based off of not only the good things that they've done, but the money that they've been able to make. And so it really sickens me when I see people like Dogpack be able to go out there, spread rumors, and then come back to the internet and say, hey guys, I'm not a credible journalist. I never said that I did real investigations on this. I used the word alleged to its full extent, and that's how I'm able to get away with just saying things, especially when you hear that people are pulling money off the table from a guy that ultimately heals blind kids. Like, why would we do that? And I'm not saying MrBeast is perfect, but it takes away from the ability to really get people for what they actually did when there are a bunch of people who are spreading false rumors.
You know what's crazy? Like, you wanna know why I don't like give shit like that attention though? It's cause like after the whole thing over with and after it's all said and done, none of them gonna say sorry. None of them gonna say sorry or apologize for slandering and shit. Just like the last time and the last time before that. You know, like the apology is never gonna be as loud as the disrespect was. So they just go.
I think Duke puts a really good bow on why I probably hate false allegations the most, is that nobody ever apologizes. Nobody ever cares. And when things like this happen, people just move on with their day. It's not even like they care about the victims in these so-called alleged crimes. They don't care about the young girl that they claim Duke got pregnant and essayed her or whatever the case may be. They don't care about all the people that Jimmy ripped off or is putting them through some sort of torture chamber in order to get his job done. They don't care about the young girl in the New Year's Eve situation with Cenat. They don't care about any of these victims in these situations. The only thing they care about is harming somebody unintentionally, intentionally, or whatever it may be. The thing that I hate the most about Twitter is that people don't understand the power that words have, and they think that it's okay to just be able to tweet whatever they tweet, log off, and whatever chaos they've started, it won't matter to them in the grand scheme of things. But if they had to come back to some sort of consequences consequences and repercussions because of the lies that they spread, because they couldn't put any credibility or present facts to the situations, then I think that it would make people second guess putting out an article, making a YouTube video, or tweeting out a tweet. At the bare minimum, they could say sorry to these content creators that they've falsely accused. But no, people like Dogpack double and triple down on the fact that MrBeast is some scummy guy after being proven time and time again that he is without a doubt wrong on the things that he's claiming him about. Do we think any of these medias are going to issue some sort of apology to Duke Dennis based off of the claims that they made about him in this recent situation? Hell, it took Complex how long to give their BS apology to AMP Chris after they put the wrong photo of him on the article involving Chris the cameraman? The least you could do is give an apology. But no, can't even do that. False allegations are some of the worst things in the world, and there has to be some sort of consequence or repercussion behind them.